Okay, so the patch notes came out yesterday, day before yesterday. So just understand that the the behavior patch notes for September 2024 came out, and it irritated me. It made me upset. I was very annoyed with the changes that were made, that some of the stuff is coming, and I was gonna wait till the PTB dropped to do a video going in depth in the changes that I didn't like and why I didn't like them and things like that. But I have this pathological need to be understood, which is probably not the best thing for a content creator to have. I wish I had more control over it, because I feel like because of that, I tend to feed the trolls a little bit more than I should. But at 2,200 hours in this game, and so as somebody who has actively in the past on multiple occasions argued for the survivor side of this game, you would think that people would give me a little bit more credit instead of treating me like I just downloaded the game yesterday and I only ever play killer. But hey, what do I know? So we're gonna go through at the behest of people who I actively respect. We're gonna go through each of these changes, and I'm gonna tell you why this is one of the most survivor-sided patches, if not the most survivor-sided patch I've seen since I started playing this game, and why so many of these are gonna become a problem so quickly. Okay, we're gonna go one by one. I say one by one. Some of these I have to wait till the PTB. Like this one, I'm gonna have to wait to see if they actually get rid of the Ebony Mori, because if they do, Q. But you know, some of these will have to wait till the PTB. The teamwork perks are fine. In fact, I think they're probably still too weak. I think that these two perks are probably still too weak. They're, you know, they didn't update the one that helps with gen repair speed, which is ironic given how much they love to buff gen repair speeds. I guess I should be grateful for that. But realistically speaking, these two perks are still very niche. They're still not going to get much use. So we're going to call this a neutral, right? Let's hold on. I got something for you. All right. So here's what we're going to do, right? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to say blue is neutral. We're gonna say yellow is survivor sided, and we're gonna say red is killer sided. Okay, so I'll do a tally over here underneath me. Okay, so we have two neutral changes. Okay, all right, so that's where we're at. We have two neutral changes. Okay, all right. Then we're gonna come down to corrective action. Now, some people are like, oh my God, dude, you don't understand. Corrective action is still dog shit. It's got a token system. This isn't gonna do anything for it. I feel like most of you do not understand that this game has 4 survivors in a game. If 2 survivors are using corrective action and they are missing skill checks on purpose, they are feeding their corrective action. What I mean is you have survivor 1 and you have survivor 2, okay? And they're both sitting on the same gen. They're both working the same gen. If they AFK that gen, survivor 2 misses the skill check and it doesn't count as a miss, it counts as a great. So they get +1 token to their corrective action, because they technically hit a great skill check. Survivor 1 gets a skill check, but it doesn't count as a miss. It counts as a great. So the token that they just lost, giving Survivor 2 a great skill check, now gets gained back, right? So they're not -1 token. They are back where they started. Right? And because corrective action starts with 3 tokens in the match, they don't have to hit anything first in order to accomplish that. Now you take this and you combine it with fucking Hyperfocus, which not only is going to increase the progress of every great skill check that is hit for free between the two of them, but also it will increase the frequency of skill checks popping up, so that these two basically AFK on gen with corrective action Hyperfocus, and then the gen just starts going bop 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 bop, because they're both being hit with rapid fire skill checks and they're succeeding greats on every single one of them while not having to do a damn thing. See, there's a habit of the community to look at things and picture them. I said this during my specialist video. So many of you guys like to look at things and picture them in a vacuum. You think about it, it's all in a vacuum, right? Oh, it's just this perk and it's just on one survivor, but that's not how that works. And with another change we're going to talk about a little later, this is going to be a gigantic fucking problem on anybody who is at least in a duo queue. At least in a duo queue. Okay, combine that with say stakeout and deja vu, and you've got anytime anybody's doubling up on those gens, it's gonna be fucking insane. And you could take out the stakeout for one prove thyself. One person has stakeout, one person has prove thyself. So if one of you does get chased off a gen, then you have the stakeout to keep up with the hyperfocus and keep the gen going. But because two of you are on there and it's doing that, that gen's gonna fly, and we're gonna get exact numbers on how long it takes on average once the PTB comes out. Okay, so this is a survivor-sided change. Okay. Next up, we have Inner Focus. Increased aura reading duration to 6, 8, 10 seconds was 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then they removed the range requirement. So basically what happens here is whenever another survivor loses a health state, no matter where they are, you just see the killer's aura for 10 seconds. It just gives you completely free info on the killer. Some people are saying it's not that bad. Here's the thing. Part of the power of killer, part of what makes the killer strong, is the element of surprise. Now, yes, the terror radius obviously tells you when the killer's near. You need that information, but in order for Survivor to be difficult, you have to have as small information as possible. If you have one person on a 4-man squad that has this, they are able to give you consistent information on where the killer is. However, I will hand you guys this as a neutral change. I will hand you guys this as a neutral change because I feel like while this is incredibly strong, we do have a balance on the killer side to balance it out. Next up is We're Gonna Live Forever, okay? This is not that bad. And I said this in my video, right? Not that bad, I'm fine with it. Why the hell is this? Oh, that's why it's doing that. Okay, all right, buddy. Anyway, we're gonna go not that bad. Next up is Poised. Now, this is one where it's gonna be a little bit difficult to judge right now, but Poised is the new Poised. The way I'm reading it is when you touch a generator and you start, you get the killer's aura for 6 seconds. Okay? And the second effect of Poised is whatever. It's not really that bad. It's not really that great, but it's not really bad either. Okay? So you touch a generator, you pop off. You touch it again, you jump off. You touch it again, you jump off. Every 6 seconds, you know where the killer's at. Is that efficient? Yes, no, I don't fucking know. Ruin counters it. But realistically speaking, you're not gonna be hopping on and off every 6 seconds, but you're still getting a massive amount of info on the killer for basically for free. And it's something that it's still something that makes the killer's job much, much more difficult. And when you combined it with the fact that you're getting a new gen rush perk, that makes working on gens even easier, right? Because then you know when you can hop off and when you can't. It's going to become a problem, especially when we get down to quick Gambit, because I swear to God, people. Anyway, next up is Blood Rush. This is unequivocally a point in the survivor-sided favor, right? Blood Rush now activates for 40, 50, 60 seconds after being unhooked, previously activated. New Blood Rush now deactivates upon performing a conspicuous action. New Blood Rush now deactivates when the exit gates are powered. Blood Rush no longer heals or provide the bogus status effect. This gets rid of an exhaustion state. So you get unhooked, sprint burst, along with your unhook speed, pop it, sprint burst again, you're just fucking out of there, right? Or you get unhooked, OTR body block, let yourself go down, decisive strike the killer, get up, lithe out of a window, pop it, you now have the lithe again for when the killer gets closer to you, you pop out and you go off, right? People, when the last time I pointed this out, people have this idea in their heads that like, oh, if you don't tunnel, you don't have to worry about anti-tunnel. That's not how this game works at literally any level above baby's first asymmetrical game. Okay, anti-tunnel perks are used aggressively all the time. And even if you don't fall for the fucking decisive strike, you still need to waste time working your way through the cornucopia of fucking health states that this game has. You still have to fucking get that damn OTR because you can't wait out OTR because it lasts for 80 goddamn seconds. Okay, so you can't wait out the OTR. So they're gonna get the OTR. They might get the lithe, so you can't chase them. They'll pop the blood rush so that they can have lithe again if you get back on their ass. It's just it's literally too much. It's literally too fucking much. There's so much aggressive ways to use anti-tunnel in this game. It's gonna be a fucking pain in the ass, okay? Now we have Quick Gambit. People thought I was overreacting because of several reasons. They were like, oh, but Quick Gambit only gives 5%. No, it gives 15%. Every survivor gets the buff, right? So, this perk no longer has a range requirement, now shows the auras of other survivors so you can keep the killer away from them. But while you're in chase, every survivor is getting this little 5% buff. What did we talk about earlier, right? We're gonna mark this as a survivor sided. You have the Corrective Action Hyperfocus combo. So you get 2 people with that combo, and you get 1 person with Quick Gambit. You're going to give this to your best looper. That person is going to be able to keep the killer in chase, even if it's 15 seconds. That is 15 seconds where that gen is going bare minimum 10% faster due to the Quick Gambit. If you're doing this right, you're probably going to have at least 1 Commodious, probably 1 BNP in place, and you're going to have the Hyperfocus Corrective Action combo going off, meaning that gen is going to be finished lightning fucking fast. See, the problem is that so many, like I said before, everybody's thinking in a vacuum. They see this 5% number and they're like, oh, it's only 5%. And then they see, oh, it goes on a 60-second cooldown when you lose a health state. But you don't understand is that if you can last even 15 seconds of 5% gen speed repair per survivor, that's 15% if everyone's, and then even if you take out the Corrective Action Hyperfocus, if all 3 survivors are on 3 separate gens, which is massive gen efficiency, that is 15% of the total gen efficiency in the game being given for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And that is in the worst case scenario. That is in the worst case scenario. This perk is active. This perk actively will create more Gen Rush. And it's baffling to me how every time we bring up how Gen Rush keeps getting buffed while Gen Slowdown keeps getting nerfed, everyone just like turns a blind eye. Like, I don't know about that one, bro. I mean, it's just not that bad. It is that bad. It is that bad when you consider all the ways to Gen Rush in this game and how you can give all those different ways to each individual survivor, right? Next up, we have the Distortion change. This is not a nerf. This is a change. And it's a change that can work in your fucking favor, a lot more than you think it can. The previous distortion was strong, but part of the previous distortion's problem was it encouraged rat gameplay. So the people using distortion weren't doing anything to help the team. Now you take aggro in order to activate it. Guess fucking what? The aggro that you take is going to improve your games, because people who use distortion are going to have to draw the aggro at some point and get the killer's attention. And then if you've got it, like, let's say you've got them running quick Gambit, you know, you have two people running the corrective, actually all 4 people running Corrective Action, Hyperfocus, and then quick Gambit Distortion. So everybody blocks the initial lethal. Everyone has a chance to get on gens. One person's going to get off the gen to take the chase. They're going to regain their distortions tokens back. And then when the killer comes by to chase you guys off of gens, you get in chase for half a second, boom, distortion's back on. There's no cool, it's not on a cooldown, guys. And you don't have to be in chase for a certain number of time. You literally just have to enter chase. It's as simple as running in front of the killer while they're carrying somebody, or just being in the killer's line of sight when the killer's walking up, but he doesn't notice you. This is not a nerf, guys. This is still strong. And the fucking duration got buffed. It hides scratch marks too, guys. Do you get that? Do you get that? And I want you to keep this in mind, because I'm going to get to a couple killer perks later on that are a problem. I think, yeah, this is the last of the survivor perks. I don't know why people are calling this a nerf. I don't know why people are calling this a nerf. Because it says, now suppresses grunts of pain and pools of blood as long as you're in the locker. This effect lingers for 30 seconds after exiting the locker, was 10 seconds. People are saying, oh, it got rid of the information part of it. Where do you see that? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Where do you see it got rid of the information part? All they did was buff the amount of time it gets rid of your grunts of pain and pools of blood. So they didn't get rid of the information part. This the information is still there. This doesn't say new. This doesn't say new. It's not a new effect. It's not a rework. It's a change to the previous effect. This is not a nerf. This is a straight buff. Another buff for survivors. The locker escape build is going to be way fucking stronger. Way stronger. Okay? Now let's get in the killer perks. All right, now let's get in the killer perks, okay? All right. Genetic limits. This is something I will give killers, right? Because now with this one, you counter DH, you counter overcome, you counter lithe, you counter balanced, you counter Iron Will, I think, if I remember right. Iron Will deactivates when you're exhausted, if I believe so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You counter these. I feel like I'm missing something here. You counter head on. Right? So we'll give this to killers. It's a pretty significant buff to this perk. So we'll give that to killers. Okay? I'm down. I get you. Okay. Moving on. Leverage. When a survivor performs an unhook, their healing speed is reduced by 50% for 30 seconds. Not really that big of a deal. Most people run will make it nowadays. If they don't, then it's still not that big of a deal, because it changes a 16-second heal into a 24-second heal, if I'm doing my math right. So it changes 16-second heal into a 24-second heal, but nothing else is pretty in place. Is it a good buff? Yes. Is it significant enough that you're going to run it in some sort of anti-heal build? Yes, but you're going to dedicate your entire build to this, making this work. I don't think this is good enough on its own. I'm going to mark this neutral. Okay. Flack. is now on a token system, which is good. Gain a token every time you hook a survivor, which is good. And then the survivor within 24 meters screams and reveals their location. Now, here's the thing. It used to reveal auras. It doesn't anymore. Now it's just scream and reveal the location within 24 meters. Scream and reveal the location is great. It's great. But it reveals the location for 5 seconds, meaning you scream and then you try to go somewhere else. It's the new ultimate weapon on a token system, and you need to have a pallet or a breakable wall with it. I don't think this is good enough to count as a buff. Okay? I don't think it's good enough to count as a buff. I feel like I messed up with this neutral category, because I should be being like, oh, it's not good enough for a buff. I should have like a category for not good enough for buffs. Yeah, let's do that. We have 2 killer buffs that aren't that great, 1 that's really good. We have 6 survivor buffs that are really, really good, and we have 4 that aren't that great. We should erase 1 because we marked, no, we didn't talk about the finisher Mori. Okay, all right. Sorry, I'm just realizing how I'm doing this. So the darker colors are either going to be not good enough to matter or a straight nerf. Okay. So then we make our way to machine learning. All they did was take away the 2 gen proc. So you kick a gen, when that gen gets completed, you get undetectable and haste for 60 seconds. Sounds amazing, but what if the gen you kick is not being finished? Sometimes survivors will see you kick a gen and go do another one. They will not always go back to a gen. So you have to find a gen that has a lot of progress on it and kick that and hope that they finish it and hope that you get to take advantage of the effect. This works in in-game builds with Noed and Terminus, and that's about it. It does not work in a day-to-day build. It's good, but it is not good enough to matter. Okay? This perk went from a C tier to a B tier. It's good, not good enough to matter. Deathbound. Deathbound no longer has a distance requirement. Deathbound no longer has a duration and instead deactivates when the healer is hooked. So, 1 person in the trial becomes oblivious until they're hooked. Oblivious is a strong status effect, but it is not so strong that it changes the tide of the game if it's only on 1 person. If it was, having 1 person asleep on Freddy would be fucking the bee's knees. Okay? The reason a perk like Plaything is strong is not just because of the Oblivious, but because it provides massive slowdown. I posted a video, a coaching video, last week or this week. One of them. It was called Just Do Gens, where Plaything Pentimento combo basically helped the killer extend the game for over 20 minutes. Because it says deactivates, which tells me that once it's activated, it only activates on 1 person through the match. And you'd have to find that person. You know what? Fine, I'll give it to you. I'll give you this one. I'll give you that one. I don't think it's that good, but I see the argument for it. Zancian. Oh, you guys can't even see the bright red now. What the fuck? Am I stupid? I'm stupid. Now, Zancian Tactics, I admitted in my thing, was a really, 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 really good perk. It's basically, it's incredibly fucking strong. It's probably gonna end up being one of the best anti-chase tools in the game. Here is the thing. I don't think this is a healthy change. And I never said it was. This is not healthy for the game. This is so fucking powerful, so ungodly strong, that AntiLoop killers get even better. Artist, Unknown, Chucky, Pyramid Head, Dracula, Nurse, obviously, Blight, like this is so strong. This is such a fucking strong perk that if people ask me what perk to buy or what chapter to buy as killer, I would say Oni just for this perk. This is one of the new S tier perks. It is so fucking powerful. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't like this change. DMS, straight fucking nerf. There were people saying this was a buff. This is not a buff, guys. It applies to one generator for 50 seconds. To one generator for 50 seconds. How is that a buff? It goes from affecting every generator to one generator for 50 seconds. I don't see how you consider that a buff. That's a straight nerf. And on top of that, it's a nerf to slowdown. And with survivors getting multiple gen speed perks in Quick Gambit and in Corrective Action, this is just a fucking kick in the teeth. Next up, we have Blood Echo. Blood Echo has never really been that great. It's still not that great. I said this in my original video. The duration goes down to 30 seconds, which is a 15-second nerf. But you can activate it every time you hook somebody. Woohoo! Woohoo! Cherry tree! Woohoo! It doesn't do anything. All right, this is probably still the weakest exhaustion perk outside of Septic Touch. All right, it's just not that great. It's just not that great. Next up is Crowd Control. This is a massive buff. However, I want you guys to remember that this is a hex, and therefore, even though it's a massive buff, it doesn't change as much as you think it does. Because why would it? Why would this change as much as you think it does? You have just as much of a chance, actually you have less of a chance, for this to get you consistent value throughout the entire match as you do for it to fucking get cleansed within the first 10 seconds. Granted, it now matches what a hex is supposed to be. It now matches that power level, but it could easily get cleansed before you find a single survivor. It's still got the weaknesses of a hex. It's just now, instead of being down in the C, lower B tier, where it used to be, it's now up in the upper B, lower A tier, along with Devour and Blood Favor and Pentimento Plaything combo. You know, it's now as powerful as a hex should be, but it's not going to make that big of a difference. Next up, we have Predator. This is another one that I think is incredibly unhealthy for the game. It will make a big difference. Specifically, it buffs the shit out of Nurse. I don't like them slapping aura reading to fix this perk. I always said that Predator should be one that I made a status effects video a while back, and I introduced a status effect called Panic, which causes the survivors to still leave scratch marks when they're walking and still make loud noises when they slow vault. So I always thought that Predator should induce panic when a survivor leaves a chase or when a survivor gets injured or something. Obviously, Panic's not in the game. Behavior may or may not listen to a fucking jackass like me. So I wasn't expecting that to be the change. Have if we were to work within the current confines of the game, you could have done something like, have the survivor become exhausted for 2 seconds when they enter chase, or have the survivor's aura revealed when they perform a conspicuous action within 24 meters of you, or something like that, right? I think that, you know, I know I said aura revealed is not the answer, and then I gave an aura reveal. I just realized that. What I'm trying to say is that giving the killer the ability to see the aura of the survivor when they escape a chase is just asking for Nurse, Blight, not so much Hillbilly anymore, Spirit, any killer that can just easily catch the fuck back up to the survivor. It's just asking for survivors to just die. Right? Escaping a chase no longer matters, because then if the killer is playing any killer that can either easily catch up to the survivor, easily get the jump on the survivor, or easily hit the survivor from range. This perk literally just gives you free information for no reason. It's unhealthy. This shouldn't be in the game. So I'm counting 2 unhealthy changes for Killer so far. Let's say 2 unhealthy changes for Killer so far. And I counted what? Corrective Action, Quick Gambit, Poised, Hyperfocus. So 4 unhealthy changes for Survivor. Go with that. So the Skull Merchant is the 3rd unhealthy change for the killers. This is insane. This is gutting to the highest fucking power. Apparently, I saw Pixelbush say it on Twitter. I don't know how true it is. I'm too lazy to look it up, but apparently behavior is gutting the shit out of this character so they can prepare for a rework next year. This is fucking stupid. This is a kick in the teeth to anyone who plays Skull Merchant, and it is essentially ruining the game for people. For what? Because a bunch of whiny sacks of shit couldn't be bothered to learn how to play against the fucking character? Because you give up every game before you have the chance to even practice playing against the character? Oh, well, I'm not having fun. Okay, so why does everyone else's fun have to be ruined because of your problems? Right? You're not having fun, so then we completely destroy a character, completely gut the there is no arguing that this has gutted the Skull Merchant. This is ridiculous. This has dropped her down to D, maybe even F tier. I'm not even shitting you when I think she might actually be worse than Freddy. I have to play her first, but she might actually be worse than Freddy. If she's not, she's very, very fucking close. This is probably one of the worst fucking things I've ever seen in my life. This is the kind of nerf you make to something like the Nurse. A character that's so goddamn oppressive, the only way to keep her in check is to make her useless. That was not the problem with Skull Merchant. She was not that damn oppressive. Annoying? Maybe. Boring? Whatever. But she was not so oppressive that you just fucking, like, why? Why? This is unhealthy for the game, not because it's too powerful, but because it's just a straight up massacre. Hillbilly, over nerfed. Way over nerfed. Your overdrive goes away faster. You don't get as much speed in overdrive. And you don't get overdrive as often. And then when you inevitably miss, because you're gonna miss a lot, because that's how Billy's chainsaw works, you're gonna miss a lot. You miss all the time. Even good Billies, even the best Billies miss all the time. They under or overestimate the curve, or they are sprinting across the map to find somebody and they have to stop so they can readjust their aim, or they go, or the hitbox fucks them. Even the best hillbillies in the fucking world miss all the goddamn time. And people were already making it to safe pallets and windows and all this other stuff when it was 2.5. So you're punished for missing, which you're gonna do a lot, even the best ones do. The thing that made your fucking power good, which was overdrive, is gonna go away faster, it's weaker, and you don't get it as often. I can't believe people are looking at it and they're like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. The thing that made him good is getting massively nerfed. Is it gonna bring him all the way down to fucking C tier or some shit? No. He's still in A tier. He still has a good map presence, but everything is significantly weaker. And one of the things that helped him with his curving was overdrive would let you hit curves you normally couldn't hit because of it. Now that it's going to come up less often, you're going to have far more time that you get to waste of the hillbillies by manipulating the hitboxes in the way that survivors know how to do, making him miss even more, giving you even more time that you're able to waste. And then y'all bitch and moan and complain about being back revved. This is gonna make more Billies back rev you. There's no reason for them to go for fancy curves and cross-map snipes when they're getting punished for it. If you get punished for the attempt, why would I try it? So yeah, no, it doesn't drop Billy down in the, it's just like with the fucking Vecna nerfs back in the day. Yeah, it doesn't hurt the, it doesn't massively nerf him into the ground, but the nerfs are so massive that it actively hurts the character. It's the principle of the matter. It's the fact that he's being nerfed too hard. Next up, we got the twins. For some reason, Behavior has just opted to just nerf a fun character. Fuck it, screw you. Also, I've been forgetting to do this shit. Just nerf the character. Just fuck you. Do you get to have fun? No. Do you get to have a strong character? No. You don't get to have shit. You don't get to fucking have shit. You get to sit there and eat doo-doo dog crap. Why? Why is the twins being nerfed? They don't need to be nerfed. Sharp increase in lethality. Who cares? Like I said in my previous video, all four of these are unnecessary changes. These are all just unnecessary. There's so many killers in this game that need help. And instead of focusing on the killers that need help, we're nerfing killers who were perfectly fine. Even if you want to say Hillbilly needed nerfs. I don't agree, because we're literally always going to have a killer in the number 4 spot. Always going to be a killer in the number 4, always going to be a killer in the number 3, always going to be a killer in the number 2, always going to be a killer in the number 1. There's always going to be calls for nerfs. If you fucking gutted Nurse Blight Spirit today, there's going to be another 3 that take their place, and then those 3 are going to be getting called for nerfs, and it's going to be over and over and over again. Unless a character is like Nurse and stupid oppressive because you don't get punished for mistakes, and the character, a really good Nurse can absolutely just dominate games to an unfathomable degree, especially with some of these perk changes coming, then that's when I say call for nerfs. But even if you say the Hillbilly needed to be nerfed, it was not to this degree. Not even close. One of these changes would have done. Not all fucking 4. But anyway, the twins were just fine. They were just fine. And they've increased the clunkiness. They went in and they did all these quality of life changes to make the twins feel less clunky and better to play. And then they come back in and they add more shit. They add clunkiness back. Why? That doesn't feel good. Then we get to the unknown. Once again, an unhealthy change for the game. Once again, killers are getting the shaft in this patch. This makes him far more clunky. This is unneeded noise. This makes him far more clunky. This is unneeded. This is a buff, technically, but it's a buff you're not going to notice that often. They're nerfing Vanishing Box, because they mention it down here. Where'd they say it at? Yeah, they're nerfing Vanishing Box, because fuck you, that's why. It didn't need a nerf, but they're doing it anyway. And then this is unneeded. Sorry, no, this is actually good. My bad. I forget which change this was. This is actually good. I actually like this. Good change, okay? But this is unneeded. Okay? So of the 6 unhealthy changes to killer, 2 of them are unhealthy for survivors. 4 of them are unhealthy for killers. Killers are getting a lot more nerfs and just perks that don't matter as compared to survivors who didn't get any nerfs. They just got a bunch of perks that didn't matter that much. And all 4 of the unhealthy changes for Survivor are unhealthy for the game in general. They're going to cause gens to go faster. They're going to cause chases to be more powerful, or for the Survivor side. They're going to cause second chance perks to run absolutely rampant. This is a problem. This is a fucking problem. Hopefully you guys understand what the fuck I'm talking about now. This is all way worse than you could ever fucking imagine. Like, I literally feel like I am standing in a flock of geese and I'm screaming. I'm being like, guys, the geese are here. Guys, the geese are here. The geese are here. And everyone's looking at me like, there's no geese there. What are you talking about, Kaiser? I don't see any geese. And the geese are like attacking my heels and there's fucking hundreds of them going, you know, like they fucking do. And I'm like, the geese are here. They're attacking me. And everyone's going, Kaiser, the geese aren't there. You're hallucinating. Oh my God. And everyone just fucking turns around and walks off. Like I genuinely just don't understand how you don't see the problem. I don't understand how we don't see the issue. Maybe I'm just fucking stupid. I don't know. All I know is that my experience in this game has shown me that this patch is not good. It's not a good patch. It's not a balanced patch. It's incredibly survivor-sided. It tilts the scales far too much to the survivor side. And before anybody fucking accuses me of bias, if this patch was too killer-sided, if this patch was too much of a problem, I would have said the same thing about killer. The same thing. As I've proven multiple times in the fucking past. Multiple times in the past. When the Twins rework first came out and that was going to be a big, massive problem, unfair to survivors, I spoke out about it. When the adrenaline nerf happened, I didn't find it fair and I spoke out about it. Quit accusing me of fucking bias because I play killer and I say that this fucking patch is survivor-sided all to hell. Quit accusing me of fucking bias because I'm not. I literally am looking at how it affects both sides. Or again, maybe I'm just fucking stupid. You know, if it makes you feel better, Kaiser's a fucking dumbass who doesn't know what they're talking about and should quit Dead by Daylight, because that's apparently all my fucking comment sections ever is nowadays. It's just all, nobody wants you in the DBD community. You don't know what you're talking about. All your thousands and thousands of hours of experience and research and learning the game and understanding the fundamentals and putting actual fucking thought and nuance into your opinions, all of that shit, none of that fucking matters. God for fucking bid. God for none of it matters because I get to make gens go. I get to finish gens in 2.5 seconds, and killers, all the killers I find mildly annoying are getting fucking nerfed so hard. So fuck you, Mr. Killermain. You know, obviously, what the fuck ever. I'm just aggravated, man. I'm just so aggravated. But we'll see. PTB comes out. Maybe the PTB comes Tuesday and I change my mind on everything. Probably not, but maybe we'll see. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good day. Special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Need more Kaiser in your life? Well, I've got you covered. Check out my second channel, The Kaiser Extras, where I upload full gameplays, stream compilations, me reacting to your Dead by Daylight clips, and more. We also upload a daily short with all the greatest clips from stream. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description.